Well, if you've ever heard of Give Me the VIN, that's John Clay Wolf. And together with John, we have bought a car that actually is celebrating its 30th year anniversary this year. And it belonged to an old boss of mine. I designed this car in 1995. We built it. It won the Amber Award, America's Most Beautiful Roadster, in 1996. We own it now, and I want to put this car back together the way it was when it won in 1996, the Boydster. There's little memories, huh? Well, as I told you, we finished this car at Hot Rods by Boyd in 1996. It won the Amber Award. It was sold, and I'm not sure, I think it's been through 2 or 3 different owners. And the last owner had passed away and the family sold it to us. Now, through the years, the 30 years that it's been with other owners, they've changed the headlights, they've changed the steering wheel, they've changed the tire size. I haven't looked at what else. I know they added a backup light in the back. And my goal is to get this back to the way it was before we take it out to Grand National Roadster Show. I will probably leave the mirrors on it, but I do have the original steering wheel that came off the car. I don't even remember how I got it, but I've had it all these years. We're gonna put it back on the car. You can see the spoke design matches the shape of the wheels themselves. These wheels actually bolt on from behind. They puzzle piece into the actual hub. The back of the wheel is cut out, it drops in. There's lug nuts on the backside. I'm looking for a piece of leather that'll match the seat. So we'll get this rewrapped. The leather that was on it had been damaged, so we'll get the wheel changed. I've got to get another horn button made for it. Try and get as much done as we can before the show. Well, that's the original steering wheel back in the car. Of course, we're going to rewrap it in leather, and I've got to repolish it because it looks really dingy. When Boyd drove this car, for those of you who remember Boyd when he was big, in 96, Boyd had to lift the steering wheel, and Boyd had a giant diamond ring, and you can see the scratches on the windshield. Those are from Boyd's actual ring when he was driving this car. I was lucky enough to ride with Boyd and do the power tour where we drove from California. I believe it was 96. We took this car all the way back to the end of the power tour. We had a blast. And I remember we'd be driving down the road, and all of a sudden you'd hear this funny little noise, this little, I was like, what was that noise? And when I got out, when we got to one of the stops, I looked underneath the car, and what was happening is, you know, we built this car to compete for Grand National Roadster Show for the Amber Award, and all the half shafts and the drive shaft, Carl had made little polished aluminum discs that glued over all of the ends of the circles on the half shafts and the drive shaft. And while we're going down the freeway, every once in a while, you know, they were just siliconed on. One would let go, and that's what we were hearing fly off the car. Pretty funny. When the Boydster was originally sold, the first new owner wanted to change out the original steering wheel. It was a smaller diameter than this. He wanted a bigger diameter because there is no power steering in the car, and he wanted it to be easier to steer. Well, I had the original steering wheel. The leather wasn't in great shape, so I gave it to Hector from Bill Dunn's. We found some leather. This is the original wheel. The spoke design is the same as the wheels, and we're gonna put this on, take it to the show. We're getting the tires on it. This car will be exactly the way it was in 1996 when it won America's Most Beautiful Roadster. Thank you. That looks great. And the color is perfect. Well, this weekend is the Grand National Roadster Show weekend, and we have the Boydster, which this is the 30th anniversary of the win for that car being America's Most Beautiful Roadster. And what I'm doing is prepping, but Bobby Alloway out of Tennessee had a set of 205 50-15s. The original tires were 195 50-15s, but these are brand new NOS tires. And what I'm doing is prepping them for the show. So I cleaned them. What I'm doing right now is taking a little bit of acetone and a scrub brush, and I'm getting all the paint out of the grooves between the treads. What I do is I get that a little bit wet, and then I've got this scrub brush, and I can come in here and it'll take the paint right out of there, get that clean. I can get it all out of the grooves. So I just take a butane torch, and if you watch really close, I've already done all the others, but you just put a butane torch, it'll burn that right off. You can see them when you get to them. There's another one right there. Just wipe it clean and they're all gone. You know, when you first get them, it looks like they need a shave. You don't need to shave it, you need to burn them away. I'll continue getting all of this off with the acetone. Say I'm gonna take a DA sander and just with some, probably I'll use maybe 120 grit, and I can sand all those real nice and smooth.
All right guys, so we're over here on the final prep side of the building. We've got the original Boydster here. We've been kind of detailing, polishing up the chrome, getting it ready for the Grand National Roadster Show this weekend. We've also got one of our favorite builds, which is the Continental you guys saw at SEMA. We're getting this thing detailed up for the Roadster Show as well. Getting that chrome nice and shiny, doing up the wheels. And Steve's back there putting in some work on that MagnaFlow exhaust system, making it look real nice and shiny. So we went ahead and broke out the metal polish, did all the control arms, the brakes, the hubs, and we sent the wheels out to get polished inside and out as well. All right, so we got the Continental coming, the Boydster coming. We're also super excited to bring the Impression. I know a lot of you guys will be excited, we are. And so those of you that are new to the channel or don't know the history, this is a Riddler winner car. It's a completely hand-built vehicle that Chip designed and built in-house here at Foose Design. Call it the flagship of our brand.
My name is Roger and I hate everybody. All right, so it's Thursday morning, about 7:30. We're in the process of loading cars to go to the Grand National Roadster Show. And what has to happen is that obviously semi's got to show up. Once it does, they have to figure out which cars go where on the trailer. And then we've got to get them out of the building and get them loaded onto the trailer in the right order and with enough space that nothing happens to them before they get there. Then we leave from here, go out to Pomona Fairgrounds and do the same thing, but backwards. And then we load them in the building, set up the booth and do all the rest of it. All right, so we've got the Lincoln loaded and we've got the Boydster loaded. Now the last thing is the Impression and then off to Pomona. Yeah.
Well, we've made it. We're here in Pomona for the Grand National Roadster Show. It was a lot of work getting everything here. We're setting up now. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to show you the great weather, all the cool cars, and the wonderful people.